Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. We have a lot of Borderlands 3 things to talk about. This may be the worst kept secret in video games. We're talking leaks, latest comments from Randy Pitchford, and on top of that, a new report coming in about Borderlands 3, so details on its antagonist, returning weapon types, and also familiar faces from prior games. So let's get into it, starting off with a survey leak which came from Hater Hype's YouTube channel. So there is an app for Google Opinion Rewards, and pretty much you fill out surveys. This survey on question 7 says, of which of the following video games do you plan to buy or have you already bought? The first option is Apex Legends, which is free to play, so that's kind of strange. But anyway, there's also Metro Exodus, Destiny 2, Borderlands 3, Anthem, Battlefield 5, and none of the above. Naturally, Borderlands 3 is the standout option there, considering all the other games are already out into the world. Now, the speculation is that these surveys are created off of the algorithm for Google, but apparently the case is, from my research as well as others, is that these surveys are created by marketers and then they pay Google to put them out there so that they can obtain data from consumers. So point being is that it seems like there's some early marketing going on. It seems like they're trying to gather data, and that may have slipped into current surveys, probably as they prep to reveal the game at PAX East. So now people are going to start pre-purchasing the game, and they want to get some data on how many and what types of games people who play Borderlands 3 are also into, so they can go forward with that data. It's all important stuff, but it seems to have slipped a bit early, which can also hurt some of the data that they need. Next is comments from Randy Pitchford. A fan of Borderlands says, I don't mean disrespect at all, but you even pretty much confirmed that the game is coming a little while back. You just won't say it outright. People are getting worried, that is all. To which Randy says, it has been no secret that we have games in development. That includes games in the Borderlands franchise. I cannot control what other people worry about. I'm worried about creating entertainment and will announce things when they are ready. Not really brand new information there, more of the same we've seen from Randy Pitchford, just some latest comments there. To me, the only standout thing is really he says games in the Borderlands franchise. I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to dig too deep into it. I think this should be a sufficient answer though. Some people got angry at this, and the way I look at it is, look, the game is getting revealed very soon. People are getting antsy, people are getting impatient, but it's coming so soon. We've waited so long for this game. We can wait a little bit longer until we actually see something from Borderlands 3, and then we can go complain to Randy about whatever else we want. Next is the huge report, which comes courtesy of Sup Matto over on YouTube. Big Borderlands 3 guy. He has a bunch of anonymous sources that he confirms information with and then releases it to the Borderlands community, and we all go crazy. So let's get into what he had shared with us most recently. It starts off with the Calypso twins. So if you're not familiar with them, they are the apparent antagonists of Borderlands 3. They're known as the Children of the Vault, so maybe you've heard them in passing throughout the Borderlands community. Anyway, he's gotten details as in names for these antagonists, which are Tyreen and Troy. So Tyreen is a siren who can sap power from others. Troy is a parasitic twin who has the ability to do so as well, and he can strengthen enemies as we fight. So this is a common theme in combat in Borderlands 3. We have actually seen that with the Goliaths. As you knock off the helmet and you do damage to them and they kill other enemies around you, they scale up. And we've also seen scaling down in a sense in the pre-sequel, where you fight Kragans, and as you destroy the bigger versions, they condense into smaller and smaller versions of them. So it's sort of like constant waves of enemy coming your way. So it's really evolving on that formula, but putting an antagonist in its place, which would be Troy, who's gonna probably pop in, buff some enemies, maybe buff a boss or a person who we didn't think was too much of a threat, and now they are. So I like this because it can keep the villain involved in the gameplay and not just sitting behind the echo screen constantly, which is something that I think hasn't aged too poorly in Borderlands. But as time has gone forward and storytelling has moved forward, I think we want to have more encounters with these antagonists and connect with them and find real reasons behind what they're doing and why we should dislike them or should we sympathize for them. And I think a big part of that is giving them screen time. So yes, if Troy can pop up more often, buff these enemies, give us a little monologue on why we should be terrified or whatever, then that would be pretty cool. Next, which I think is the most exciting bit for Borderlands fans, is that Eridian weapons are apparently returning. They have been gone since Borderlands 1. They were dope. Need I say more? This is excellent news for those of us who like to replay the games constantly, get all those sick weapons, get all the legendaries, and replay the game in True Vault Hunter mode. You know the loop. Last, but certainly not least, is Vaughn from Tales from the Borderlands will be in Borderlands 3. And naturally, that does mean that Rhys, who is the main protagonist from Tales from the Borderlands, will be in Borderlands 3 as the leader of Atlas, and Fiona will be a side character too. So that's a lot of information for Borderlands fans to digest. We're talking antagonists, names, what they can do, Eridian weapons finally coming back. Characters from Tales from the Borderlands are not going to go to waste and disappear entirely, which I don't think any of us really felt would have happened, but it's good to have some form of confirmation. Comments from Randy Pitchford and this survey leak. Like I said, Borderlands 3 is hands down one of the worst kept secrets in video games because there's more and more popping out. Also, for those wondering about Submato's sources, he has multiple of them apparently, and he says that he goes back to them, he confirms all this information, he has more that he could share, but he has to make sure entirely before he actually puts it out there. So that's kind of the status on that. You can take it with a grain of salt if you want. I would totally understand that. But also, hey, if those sources ever want to come my way and share some information, I would have no problem popping it out there for the community, because you guys know I'm stoked and I love to put some more Borderlands content out there for folks. And so yeah, just wanted to put that out into the internet. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think about all of this Borderlands 3 information in the comments down below. Fire away, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that, as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.